the first question, I think I don't know if you have the same idea as I do, but I have a feeling that if the first three speakers could work together, we would have a totally secure sort of supply chain. We would know everything about every single component of everything that we buy, and that would be fabulous. But is it something that can be imagined? Having exactly the true original component detected, marked by I don't know, kind of digital print on a blockchain, and appearing on a tag on the garment. Is that imaginable?
Yes, it's imaginable, and we have to talk just after that meeting. Okay, because in fact, is complement technology can be used all together, of course.
Yes, actually, it is written that we are doing traceability. We are not doing traceability. We are doing transparency. We don't create more data. We are not searching for more data. I think you are working with brands to get more data and more certificated data, I think. And we just aggregate the data that is existing. So if we have this kind of data, actually that would be perfect for a customer because it's more like a reliable data.
Yeah, but it's very difficult to get, especially with the supply chain, which is so complex. I don't know, Fabrice, what you think about it, but it's such a complex supply chain that it's impossible to know where the yarn comes from, where the cotton comes from. Or isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's very difficult to write because, for example, Kering is trying to identify all the supply chain, but for them, for example, they don't know all the suppliers, for example, and it's very difficult. So you have to imagine for a young startup to discover how to find supplier, to discuss with big houses. It's almost impossible, but I think that transparency is trying to push a new mentality because the customer wants more transparency, and I think it's the most important thing.
Yeah. In the food business, you got some inspiration from Yuka?
Okay, so yeah, actually there is Yuka, which is a very big success. So Yuka is an application that allows a customer to know more about the food they're buying. So in terms of nutritious and environmental aspect, we actually know that it's very similar in terms of use because our users are the users of Yuka. But, well, we've created transparency since now 2 years, and it was not that big. Now, yeah, it's a success because there is more than 7 million of users that using Yuka. And yes, actually, we could think it's very hard to get all the information on the brands to do what we do. But actually what we're doing is not traceability. We're not searching information on every product, raw material, origin. And what we're doing is more scoring every brand's clothes, but thanks to the information that is available. Meaning that if a brand has a lot of information, that will be valuable on our method of notation. But if it has no information, that's for us an information because we think there is a risk. So our method of notation will say that it's probably a C. So
not so good.
Yeah, it's probably not so good. Try to search more information, give it to us, or publish it. And for the moment, we prefer to say to people to go to another brand. Mm-hmm. So we are pushing like this.
Yeah, so it works actually when you have a good transparency from the brands and that there is a collaboration between the brands and the assessor of the brand.
Mm. Yes, I think there is different kind of brands. There are some brands that are really the best in terms of transparency that want to, so they are the leader. So our solution will show that they are the leaders. Others are maybe not so happy on this solution, and so we are dealing with both.
But William, could we imagine that, for example, a fiber or a plant, something, could be tagged with, virtually tagged, by a blockchain sign or whatever? Is it possible?
Yeah, you know, some people try to do it, for example, with eggs and stuff like that. One of the main problems is that the blockchain and the Bitcoin protocol is made in order to protect immaterial assets and intangible assets, and not material assets. And as soon as you start putting some tags or something on the thing you want to track, there is not really need for a blockchain, because it doesn't guarantee that the person that is going to put the thing on the object can't cheat. So I don't really believe that blockchain is made for that already, for that, because blockchain is used, for example, if you want to do concert tickets or stuff like that, and anything that is intangible and you need to secure. But when it comes to the physical world, it's not the same guarantee, I believe.
Yeah, and fashion is physical. Do you want to add something?
It was very funny, your question, because I was wondering if is it possible to tag a person, for example? Is it possible to tag someone?
With the blockchain?
Yes, of course.
Blockchain you, blockchain me.
Exactly, because if it's just a technology, if we can do it for, I don't know, for a chair, for food, we can imagine to do it for something living, a person or an animal.
I believe we can more do it with people and with animals, because you can use, for example, the genetics and the ADN, and so you have some unique fingerprints, just like you can have with the digital documents. But when it comes to the share, it's more difficult, because shares are not individual and you can't extract one from the others. So you need to trust at some point the beginning of the chain. Mm-hmm. That's why I say that. But for animals, we can imagine that tomorrow we're going to track food via the ADN of the animals, and so we can be sure that this steak is what it is.
A last utopian question. We have listened to Alicia for Google France, speaking of image recognition, and also others. And could we imagine that as we do, as she did, she showed, I think she's not in at the moment, as she showed, just zooming on something, you could detect the origin of the piece or of the item. Is it a dream?
Not really. I believe there is a better system for this kind of things. For example, you can tag a picture, or it's not my specialty. But what some people are trying to do is to transfer rights and to be able to sell digital items through blockchain. So this is possible. But there is some company too, for example, that work for photograph, that's gonna do kind of what we do and combine it with some Google search from image, so they can reach for you and tell you if there is someone using your photography without your consent online. This is not what we do, because for our clients, secret is more important, and so there is no disclose. I don't even know what our users are putting on our platform, because this will be a problem for them.
Okay. I just one question for Gilles. How much does it cost to have this wonderful water tag?
Nothing. It's just ink.
Oh, good news. Something's free.
No, it's the most secure and the less expensive is about some sense, you know, is just ink. Is the advantage of our solutions. Is the reason we have some customer in luxury activity, but also in food activity. Because food activity is a mass market and very low price, and now they could have a security with our technology. And just for the blockchain and for example, we are working on a company who make a blockchain certificate for art. And at first time they take a photo to make a certificate, and now we work with them to put our certificate on the art to make an authentications before sending to the blockchain. Like this, all the chain is secure.
And one could even imagine that your signature, if I can call it a signature, can be put directly on a garment, for example, or on a product, not necessarily on a tag.
Oh yes, of course. It's
so it could be really
you can put
intrinsic.
a sticker. You can print directly on packaging or on some clothes also. Depending materials and then, but everything is possible in fact.
And not expensive.
And
okay.
Not expensive.
Okay.
And sure.
There is a question. there's a question up there. Wait a minute. We've got to get you in the box.
Thank you. I have a question. How do you ensure that your subcontractor who manufactures the ink is not copying it? Because we basically have been working with other solutions like many solutions, and we always had problems of fake, and in fact it was coming from the subcontractor who was manufacturing the solution. And they were very good in copying it because they had the knowledge. So how do you manage this?
Alors, we are in fact free security on the tag. We can show the tag maybe if you. Yes. If you can see in the middle is a special varnish who have chemical reactions. Is not a man who do that fingerprint. Is the chemical reactions. After we have, it's the first security. After we take a photo and we put on the cloud, then it's a second security access to our cloud. And the third security is the color you see. Nobody can print this color without our ink. Because if you use a CNYK register, that color not exist. This color not exist is Pantone. Pantone gamut, then it's not possible without our ink. And just to answer to your question, a customer say, "Oh, it's good, but I want to give that to my printer." He try to counterfeit you, and if he is not arrived, we start to talk. I send a sample. He try to counterfeit. We take the smartphone, we take a photo, and he say it's fake. Okay, it's one of the free printer of Europe. Then it's very big printer who have all over the world. And and we recognize what he's done is fake. And now we talk to that customer.
I have a question for Rim. Now that you have quite a number of brands which are in your app or in your platform, I was wondering, do you have very big brands? And how do these big brands react? Do they try to have certification, transparency for some of their products and not for the rest? Or are they playing the game with you?
So first of all, maybe I can talk about our data acquisition strategy. So we have different kind of actors that give us information on products and brands. First, there are some actors like open data information, like l'ADEME, like Greenpeace, like Oxfam, that will give us information. On those database, we will have mostly information on big brands or on how we can evaluate like the impact of a product or a raw material. Then, thanks to this, so we have aggregated more than 5,000 brands informations. And sometimes there is not information on every criteria, which is a problem for us because if a user is using our app and there is the brand has been referenced, but there is not information on all, you cannot really compare. So what we're doing is that we're choosing the brands, the priority brands, and on those we are searching information by ourselves. So internally we will go to their websites and we will see the information they push on their responsibility and eco-friendly and things like this. And the other way is we have a web interface that allows other brands that are not already referenced to reference themselves and give information. And here we have different kind of brands that are using it. There are small brands that are making eco-friendly clothing, so they will do it very easily on their products, all their product, like 100%. There are other medium that will more do it. Sometimes they will say, I want to be very transparent. Even if I have a red, it's okay. That's the game. So I will put everything and then I will communicate about this. And there are other that want only to put information on the clothes they know will be well ranked. The thing is that when they are doing this, they already know that we can give information on the other products, but that will be not well ranked because our method of evaluation is pejorative, is meaning that if you don't have a lot of information, you will have a bad score. So they say, okay, I have a bad score, I know that won't change so much if I put some information, so let's put only information on those that will have better score. And thanks to this, we can allow every kind of brands that have made some collection, eco-friendly collection, to allow information. And also because we are working now, we are experimenting with retailers. We have other kind of information on many products, and that's kind of the same. They will just valorize those information that are positive, but for us it's the same. We give the information to customers. So.
Okay, so yeah, I've got two questions, in fact, but one. First one is quite stupid, I guess, so we'll see. About blockchain. I'd like to understand why you're talking about, why do you have Bitcoin in the blockchain? What's the use of Bitcoin there? And the second question was, for the free companies, how do you finance your research and development? Is it through services, so what you sell? Or is it through loans or investment? I'm quite interested to understand how you finance all that.
Tell who you are.
Yeah, sorry. No, so I'm one of the partners from the consortium, but I'm in charge of the financing and investment. So that's why I'm looking for interesting startups. And I'm interested to see, because I see a lot of things happening, and but I want to know, how do you finance that? Thank you.
So to answer the first question, why we use Bitcoin, it's because Bitcoin is the most secure blockchain today. And the reason for that is that people trust themselves in order to do financial exchange. And so we can beneficiate of this huge security. Most of the time, we only talk about blockchain, and we feel like the innovative part is the blockchain. It's not true. The innovative part is the Bitcoin protocol or all the protocol. And the protocol is not just the blockchain itself, because if I have a blockchain on my personal computer in my home, it don't worth anything because I'm the only one making change on it, and if I do want, I can alter data. What makes Bitcoin so resilient and so secure is that there is more than 30,000 copies all over the world. And so if one fails, if some computer burn or whatever, you will still have enough computer in order to get the truth. And I believe that the best example of this is WikiLeaks, because in fact, when WikiLeaks happened, the first thing that happened is that Visa shut down the account. Then it was to the turn of PayPal, and the only reason that made that WikiLeaks is still live today is because of Bitcoin, because even states are not able to shut it down because it's incensurable. And as we are dealing with sensitive data that may need to be conserved on 100 years or whatever, we choose a more secure blockchain that is Bitcoin, even if it does not allow as much fantasy as other blockchain can offer, because those fantasy come with a price of a lack of security, in my opinion. And on the second question, for the moment, we was on the funding of partner. Now we begin to sell and have some clients, and we are right now looking for a first seed via BSA.
To me, we have raised, in fact, already raised 2 years ago 1.2 million of euro from French business angel, in fact. And now we have customer.
Happy ending.
For us, so it's been now 1 year with developing Colospiracy. We've done it, we are two. So we don't finance for ourselves for the moment ourselves, but we are now raising funds with the business angels. Yeah, and yeah, we are raising now.
Okay. Everybody interesting. Okay, well, I think that's the end of the day. I will just thank you again because it was really very, very interesting to listen to you.